It is Thursday. You're watching Market View ERS Text Talk right here on Eswatini TV. My name is Nontsilis Tole. Welcome to the program. News just in, the Minister of Finance says there will be no early December pay for civil servants. In addition to that, a VAT shake-up will hit the shelves as some goods are exempted and others will join the tax net. Find out more in our business news. Also on the program, the Eswatini National Financial Technology FinTech Strategy represents one of the country's attempts to transform its financial landscape. Now, this refers to the use of emerging digital technologies to design and deliver inclusive, efficient and secure financial products and services. Of course, as the country aims to move from high mobile money access towards a fully functional digital economy, it is important to examine the targets set out in the strategy and how effective the government and private sector will work together to deliver results. With the chairperson of the Eswatini FinTech Working Group, we'll get to understand how the vision presented can be fully translated into action. But first, our business news this afternoon. In our business stories, civil servants will not receive early December salaries this year, but they can expect an early January payout instead. This was said by the Minister for Finance, Honorable Nur Reichenberg, during a press briefing in his offices in Mbabane, where he also unveiled updates to the VAT schedule, including newly added and removed products.
Sometimes in the month of December and January, we have paid civil servants early. Unfortunately, this year, with cash flow constraints, we're not able to do that in December. And so in December, civil servants are going to get their the normal payday will apply in December, which means on the 20th of December, the normal civil servant pay run will take place. The normal permanent civil servants will all get their pay on the 20th. Some other payments are always made after that. So on the 23rd, we'll make the payments for temporary people in the government system. We paid on the 23rd, as well as what we call daily pays, also going to be paid on the 23rd. So 20th, civil servants will get their salaries, and on the 23rd, temporaries as well as daily pays will get their salaries in December. But at the same time, in January, we will continue to pay civil servants early, because obviously we understand there's school fees and things in January. By then, SARC receipts will have come. There won't be a cash flow constraint in January, and January will still continue to assist civil servants with an early payment in January.
On another note, the Honourable Minister for Finance also announced the updates to the value-added tax schedule.
There is a gazette coming out that is making changes to the VAT-exempt goods in Eswatini, and this will be applicable from the 1st of January 2026. And so the few changes that are being made, first of all, there will be, what we have found was, if the banks in Eswatini are importing gold or silver for people to hold investments with, which means almost as currency, there was VAT being charged at the border. That is wrong. So we've now putting it in to say if gold or silver, it's got certain refinement requirements. It can't just be raw or something like that. It's refined gold in proper registered bars. If gold or silver is coming in through the banks, it means that there's no VAT being charged on it, meaning that in future the banks can hold gold or silver in Eswatini. If there are investors wanting to hold that kind of product in their bank, they can then do that as for their clients. Gold or silver that'll be brought in for jewelry making or that kind of thing, VAT will still apply to those. So it's gold or silver for investment purposes at the banks is VAT exempt. We then are removing one product. We're removing condensed milk. We found that condensed milk was on the VAT exempt list. It shouldn't be. The idea is to put things to really help people, help the poor with the VAT exempt goods. Condensed milk is not one of those things, so we're taking condensed milk out of the VAT exempt goods. It's now going to be, VAT will now be charged on it. We found that fresh maize was somehow on the wrong side. Fresh maize for people to consume was being charged VAT. We are now taking it off the VAT list, which means that you'll no longer be charged VAT on raw maize for consumption. We then found that there were quite a few medical products that were still being charged VAT, so removing all of those. I'll just quickly read through them. It's including wadding, absorbent cotton wool, gauze, bandages, surgical gloves, including dressings, adhesive plasters, surgical instruments, similar sterile surgical materials, syringes, sterile tissue, surgical wound closure, and other medical and surgical accessories. These have all now mean that there'll no longer be VAT charged on these goods as they cross the border. Another one is also, we're also making VAT exempt, is reusable nappies and reusable nappy inserts. So people that have reusable nappies, they also won't be paying VAT at the border, which means the cost of these things will reduce in Eswatini. And then we are also adding sanitary pads, sanitary towels, and tampons. And so female sanitary products, we also found that there was VAT being charged on these. We're removing VAT on those, meaning the cost of these will also be reduced with 15% in Eswatini, meaning that people can then hopefully have access to all these goods at much cheaper prices.
The minister also shared that PS Kangeziwe Mabuza has now been moved to the Singepetelo Motor Vehicle Accident Fund.
At the moment, we have been having issues at SMVAF. As one will know, we had resignations from the CEO, we've had resignation from the CFO, we had a resignation from the COO. And so as government, we really sat down to see that we have a real problem at the entity and issues that not only do have problems in a lack of leadership, quite holistically, we also have problems at the fund. The reason why there's a vacancy is because we have problems that need fixing with SMVAF. And so for that reason, government really applied themselves to who do we believe will be the best person to try and solve these problems for us and to try and assist the entity to get back on track and to assist the entity to be for the problems to be solved in the entity. And we've identified the current, she has been the PS of tourism, Mrs. Kangeziwe Mabuza. She'll be there for a 12-month period. The secondment is for 12 months. It's not an acting appointment. It is a substantive appointment. So she is actually appointed to be the CEO there.
The newly appointed Chief Executive Officer said she was not ready to comment on the matter at this time. Reporting, Nelson Ndlangamandla, Vuminkosi Nzinisa Mbabane.
In other news, the Ministry of Finance, in collaboration with the Central Bank of Eswatini and different partners, has officially launched the FinTech strategy. This bold initiative aims to boost innovation, unlock digital opportunities, and build a financial system that is faster, smarter, and more inclusive for all. The Minister for Finance, Honorable Neil Reichenberg, highlights the strategy's importance.
The strategy aims to cultivate an environment where creativity and entrepreneurship can flourish, where startups can grow, where we can collaborate and compete both locally and globally. Through innovation hubs, incubators, and strong partnerships with our academic institutions, we'll nurture the next generation of transformative financial solutions that will shape our economic future. The second one is financial inclusion. Despite our progress, many of our people remain unbanked and underbanked. The strategy prioritizes closing this gap by leveraging technology to expand equitable access to financial services, particularly to the marginalized groups. By supporting mobile banking, digital wallets, and alternative financial options, we can empower individuals and MSMEs to participate more fully in the economy, uplift livelihoods, and contribute meaningfully to national development. The third one is regulatory adaptability. Ladies and gentlemen, we recognize that innovation must go hand in hand with a regulatory system and that is agile and forward-looking. Our laws and frameworks must keep pace with the technology change. The strategy, therefore, calls for a progressive regulatory environment, one that enables innovation while safeguarding consumers and preserving the stability of our financial system. Through continued engagement between regulators and the industry, we will maintain the delicate balance between enabling progress and ensuring accountability. The fourth one is cybersecurity. As we advance into an increasingly digital financial ecosystem, we must be unwavering in our commitment to protecting our financial systems and citizens from cyber threats. The strategy reinforces our dedication to strengthen cybersecurity, adopting best practices, and investing in training and awareness to ensure that our digital financial environment remains secure, resilient, and trusted. Ladies and gentlemen, as we appreciate that a strategy, no matter how well designed, does not achieve the change on its own, it's actions and our collective commitment that will bring the strategy to life.
The governor of the Central Bank of Eswatini, Dr. Phil Mnisi, says the bank will support the full implementation of the strategy.
Today marks the start of a new phase for Eswatini, one that looks to innovation as a driver of growth, resilience, and inclusion. It is also a phase that recognizes fintech as an ecosystem built through shared effort, clear goals and roles, and active participation from everyone involved. As we move to implementation of this strategy, we will continue balancing innovation with our mandate of financial stability, consumer protection, and market integrity. Our role is not to slow innovation, but to ensure its development, that it is safe, secure, and sustainable. I'm pleased to say that as of today, in fact, as of yesterday, all service providers or financial service providers are now connected to the domestic switch.
The Minister for Finance says technology is a critical cornerstone of a growing economy. He stated that government is now spending 40% less on fuel through the use of technology, which is helping in combating corruption. Reporting, Nelson Ngamandla, Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Ezulwini.
And that is your business brief this afternoon. We'll cross over now to our Enterprise Watch segment. The National FinTech Strategy for 2025 to 2030 marks a defining moment for Eswatini to build a modern, inclusive and digitally driven financial system. At the heart of the strategy is the use of emerging digital tools and innovative technologies to improve how people save, borrow, pay, invest and, of course, access financial services. Chairperson of the Eswatini FinTech Working Group joins us to unpack what the strategy really means for the country and how it will be implemented. Dr. Metula, thank you very much for your time. Perhaps you could start us off by just giving us an understanding of what the Eswatini FinTech Working Group is. May you please activate your audio? We're having troubles with regards to hearing what you have to say.
Sorry. Greetings to you and your viewers at home. I forgot to unmute, sorry. The Eswatini FinTech Working Group is nothing but a consortium of 7 institutions that came together 6 years ago in 2019. It's the Central Bank, it's UNESCO, it's Escom, FSRA, CFI, ERS, and RSTP, those 7 institutions. When they came together, as the name suggests, the Eswatini FinTech Working Group, we wanted to promote fintech in the country, and we wanted mainly to put it in the forefront, especially especially in the area of promoting it among our young people. So that is what we wanted to do when we came together as these 7 institutions. And as you can see, Notsile, these institutions, they comprise mainly of regulators. You have your FSRA, you have your central bank. So that is what the EFWG is all about. And there's a number of activities that it has done since 2019 to try and promote fintech in the Kingdom of Eswatini.
One of those activities, I'll take it, is the involvement in the establishment of the FinTech strategy that's actually just been launched. Tell us a bit about this strategy. What does it mean for the FinTech Working Group?
Thank you. No, it's a great question. Great question indeed. Okay, what the strategy is going to do for us, because our interest as the EFWG is innovation, it is financial inclusion and the other things that the minister mentioned in the morning. But critically, innovation. What it is going to do is that it's going to bring order, because the strategy, what it does is it gives you the roadmap. It tells you the things that you need to do. So us, as the working group, one of the things that we are going to do to try and operationalize this strategy is to use it to come up with our annual plan. Our annual plan for 2026, our annual plan for 2027, to ensure that it has been implemented. And in terms of what you've asked, what it means, what it means is that it's going to unleash the potential that we have in this country. Because us, as the EFWG, what we want to do is to make sure that our young people at the university, not just at the University of Eswatini, in all the universities in the country, they are at the forefront. So one of the things, if you recall, not Sila, the most critical thing that the minister mentioned in the morning is the area of innovation. What this strategy is going to do is that it will unleash innovation, especially in the area of in the fintech space in the country. That's the most critical thing. That is why in the group you have your RSTP, you have your UNESCO, to ensure that with this strategy we incorporate our youth and we make sure that they participate meaningfully. That is what the strategy is going to do. That's the first thing. The second one is in the area of financial inclusion, to make sure that the unbanked, the underbanked are also included. They are not left behind. So those are the two critical things that I think I can mention at this point. But critically, it's innovation, 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 and making sure that our young people are at the forefront of this fintech agenda.
We have the strategy now, it's time to act. Let's talk about implementation. What responsibilities does the EFWG carry now as the country enters the implementation of this 5-year strategy?
There's a lot that we need to do. In fact, in the morning, when the minister launched the strategy, he then unveiled a committee, the working committee, the committee that's going to, the technical committee, the one that's going to be implementing this, operationalizing this strategy. The EFWG is part of that strategy. And our role is going to start actually immediately. Next week, not silly, we have a meetup at the ERS. Over 250 young people have registered. The first thing that we are going to do in that meetup is to have a 1.5-hour presentation. We'll be presenting this strategy to make sure that our young people understand the opportunities that are available in the fintech space. So our responsibility is not only on the regulatory side as the EFWG, because the working group, that the technical group that the minister presented this morning, it has two responsibilities, the regulatory side and the infrastructure aspect. So us as the EFWG, we will be involved in both aspects. The first aspect, of course, is promoting this and making sure that Emaswati are aware of this and they understand the opportunities that come with fintech in the country. So we are going to start next week with these young people that will be coming to the meetup. We will make sure that we take them through the strategy. We make them understand the opportunities that are available in fintech. And yeah, so that is what we'll be doing. So us as the EFWG, we will be involved in almost all aspects of the implementation of this strategy.
Buzzword, the opportunities, opportunities, opportunities. For the regular young person, for the MSME, the regular or ordinary Liswati, what are the opportunities that await them when it comes to fintech? What would you say, rather, well, the biggest transformation or promise of the strategy by the year 2030?
Okay, I can't say by the year 2030. I can't predict what will have happened in the year 2030. But what I do know is this, Notsini. Fintech is part and parcel of innovation. In many ways, it's a new thing. And innovation is something that's been driven by young people. And our role as the EFWG is to make sure that our young people understand that with the skills that they have, the coding skills that they have, they can come up with solutions that can change people's lives. And I think the other thing, which is critical in this matter, is that we first have to make our kids understand that they have what it takes. The moment that you see, the image that you see, the Delta Pay, your Instacash, these things were programmed. They were created by human beings. They were created by young people in other parts of the world. They can do the same thing. There are a number of fintechs in the world. Countries like Nigeria, for example, here in the continent, they transact billions per month, billions of dollars per month through these platforms. And these platforms, if you look at their history, their brief history, because all of them are new, they have been created by young people. So that is what we are trying to say to our young people, to say, you have what it takes, you have what it takes, you have the skills. With the skills that you have, you can come up with applications that people can use to transact. And when people make those transactions, obviously, you will make money, not just for yourself, for your peers, you will be an employer, you will employ your friends, and you will also push our country forward in terms of innovation and even in terms of development. Notzila.
Dr. Metula, we'll leave it here for today. Thank you very much for your insights. That was Dr. Andile Metula, actually, who is the chairperson of the Eswatini FinTech Working Group, talking to us about the recently launched National FinTech Strategy for 2025 to 2030. He says opportunities are vast for every Liswati in the FinTech space, especially our youth. It's time for you to take up space. This is Market View. The show continues after this.
Eswatini TV has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Eswatini Communications Commission. We are committed to reporting news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that does not amount to hate speech or the description of gratuitous violence or explicit sex. For any complaints of our programming, please contact us on 2411-9600 or email info@eswatinitv.co.za. You can also contact the Eswatini Communications Commission on 2406-7000 or write a letter to ECCOM on PO Box 7811 Mbabane. Email address is info@ecom.org.sz. Eswatini TV has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Eswatini Communications Commission. We are committed to reporting news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that does not amount to hate speech or the description of gratuitous violence or explicit sex. For any complaints of our programming, please contact us on 2411-9600 or email info@eswatinitv.co.za. You can also contact the Eswatini Communications Commission on 2406-7000 or write a letter to ECCOM on PO Box 7811 Mbabane. Email address is info@ecom.org.sz.
Welcome back. You are still watching Market View ERS Text Talk. We've come now to our market analysis segment where in-house economist Anele Sibiya joins us in the studio. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Sibiya. What's your observation of markets today?
Thank you, Notsile. So when we're looking at markets today, we're seeing a bit of a rebound in the U.S., largely driven by the fact that we've seen that the jobs data came in below, showing some signs of contraction in the labor market. So now, investors are really pricing in a cut in next week's Federal Reserve Bank's meeting. So we can say that the Dow Jones Industrial Average continues to posit those 400 gains. But the Nasdaq just gained some 40 points, staying relatively flat there, showing that we still have those concerns about overvaluation of those AI and tech stocks. But we're continuing to watch what's happening in terms of those earnings as they keep on being, released. But the S&P 500 is just pushing back up to those all-time high levels. So you can see that right now, life lies within the blue chips and those consumer-driven stocks, but tech is just really slowing down a bit. And then coming through to the European markets. Again, in Europe, we're seeing the news of a Federal Reserve cut in the interest rates coming into play and, pushing markets into that positive. But what you're seeing happening there in UK is we're flatlining at that 9,702 and 92.3 in terms of all share volumes within the UK markets. Now it's largely driven by the fact that we've seen the jobs, the construction data in the UK showing some signs of shrinkages. France there, because of that festive spending, is up some 3 points, and maintaining that 8,000 mark, where yet we used to seeing some 7,000 and something in France. Germany is struggling to get back to that 24,000, largely because we're seeing those the manufacturing and purchasing index data that came out shows that there's a bit of a slowdown in terms of those indices, in terms of that output there. And then in Asia, we're seeing the news of the expectation of an interest rate cut in the US. Viewing the Japanese market mostly, you can see the Nikkei there has gained 1,000 points in today's trade. The Hang Seng has gained some 175, but still on those positive levels, on those all-time high levels, both in Japan and in Hong Kong. But when you come into the mainland itself, in Shanghai, you can see that we're back at that 8,700 mark, because we are waiting to see more stimulus and also to see what is going to happen in terms of that housing market bubble there. And then coming into South Africa, the Republic is receding a bit in today's trade, back on the 110,000 mark, largely driven by the fact that we're seeing the price of gold coming down a bit, because, we're expectant of an interest rate cut next week. So we're seeing investors moving their monies to bonds and, those from bonds into equities and other currencies, and also just taking profits before we see that actual interest rate cuts, and then we get a reset and just see where markets are going to go. In terms of the Eswatini Stock Exchange, we're remaining on that 491.45 mark. In terms of our commodities, gold has taken a bit of a knock due to that profit taking, and Brent crude oil is seeing some signs of an upward movement, largely due to those hostilities. We've seen Russia promising to retaliate against the entire European region should they put boots on the ground in Ukraine. And then in terms of the currencies, the Lilangeni is actually stronger against both the dollar. We are just back on that $17 per 17 emalangeni per dollar, and 19 emalangeni 83 per euro, and 9 emalangeni 11 cents per Japanese yen. That's largely driven by the expectations of the interest rate cuts in the US and the price of gold remaining relatively high. Thank you, Natsula.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sibiya, for that analysis. That was in-house economist Anele Sibiya helping us make sense of today's trade. Otherwise, this has been another edition of Market View ERS Text Talk. Until next time, thank you so much for your company. Take care.